Now, this is a crucial matter, especially for people living in southwestern New York. The access of the county's Westchester to Staten Island. You know, we are at the center of the tri state area. And if Westchester County Executive George Latimer becomes a congressman, he's going to be a threat to democracy. He's going to be a threat to democracy. He's going to be a threat to social justice. He is a Jim Crow 2.0. He has rigged the highway systems so that there's no choice in off ramps on the Hutchinson River Parkway for mass transit and for ordinary commuters. The most urgent scourge, pardon the repetitive of that sound, urge, is he praised on one of those while you wait reports on a hotline I frequent. He praised on a hotline the foundation of and anniversary of the Rising Sun Country Club. I do believe that's what it's called. Don't quote me on that, but I'm strapped for time. He praised the anniversary of and the founding of what he refused to not call a black people's country club. Inclusion is of the very moment we live in. Inclusion is of the very moment we live in. But Malcolm X's politics proved that if you give one race a chance to stick together, they will stick together among their race and color, and they will stick apart from all others. Now, this is not segregation, my friends. This is what we call racial encampment. It's a lot less like segregation or the sectioning of the races. This basically means, in the most, I would say, in the most Jim Crow sense of the word, what we were taught was Jim Crow law that could officially be called racial encampment. This, the fact that George Latimer praised what he unapologetically called a black country club indicates that he would want some sort of reverse discrimination and have basically, pardon the expression, a black only country club. You cannot save people from the scourge of separation by saying, okay, here's a fine example. I'm going to make it really dripping. Let's pretend the shoe's on the other foot, right? Let's suppose there's a suburb where whites and Jewish people and Asian people, let's suppose there's a suburb where mostly non-of color people were threatened and discriminated at their work. Now let's put it this way. If non-of color people were given the chance to separate from the rest of society and remain together, what Strom Thurmond referred to as the separation and integrity of the races, okay? It doesn't matter what type of person is antagonizing you. Does anybody think it's going to non-antagonize the races to actually have the separation and integrity of the races in this day and age? I thought not. I don't think you would too. In short, the solution to racial injustice is not to separate races and say, when you stick together, you stick to your own. That doesn't work. We'll never know how the world works if there isn't racial diversity. Now, I've said enough about that. There's also something that I still cringe at the next thing that George Latimer was supporting that is actually giving special support to black new mothers. Okay? Neonatal to infancy mothers, just because they're black, they're treated as if they're in more need. I'm sorry, need doesn't have a color. Okay? Being antagonized has many colors, but need does not have a color. And I think I've told you enough of why George Latimer is a Jim Crow 2.0 racist. Remember this when you go to the polls.